Hi, and welcome back to Memory Sports TV. This is the interview with Braden Adams. Braden is from Canada, one of two Canadians in the World Championship. And he will talk a bit about systems, motivation, and stuff like that. So, welcome, Braden. Thank you for being here.
Hey, Johannes. Thank you. Happy to be here.
Thank you. Braden, I was thinking if memory sports would be huge, like thousands and millions of people, I was like, maybe Braden would be the rock star of memory sports then. Kind of like always outgoing, you're always entertaining and playing with the crowd. I mean, what you can play with from home when sitting alone in your desk. Is it something that you would relate to?
I guess so. Yeah, I don't know. I watch I do watch a lot of sports and I go to a lot of like concerts and stuff. So I'm used to I'm always thinking of like, man, we gotta, for the audience, try to make this a little more um interesting and exciting. And I mean I grew up watching wrestling too, so like those guys are always working the mics and working the crowd. Not that I'm comparing myself to any of them, but like I always think of that stuff. I'm like, okay, how can we like get just a little more engagement? Um, so yeah, I guess I'd be okay if that was the title handed to me if that happens. I mean, I was watching a video the other day on I think it was Instagram of and you may have heard of this. Some people wouldn't have the Excel World Memory Championships, like Microsoft
I
Excel.
heard about that. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and like it's like you're at a e-gaming or esports event. There's like uh I don't know if it's a stadium, but like the crowd, the seats are packed. People are cheering, and it's people making spreadsheets. And I'm like, how does memory sports not have a bigger following than this? So this is stuff I've been thinking about a lot, like even over the last few years of like, how can we make this, because like what we do is pretty cool, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
I,
is
I
it?
think I think memory league's like probably like a really good step towards that though, because like people can now see what we're doing, right?
Yeah, right.
Which is
But
important.
it's a perfect example. I mean, why is the Excel World Championship more popular than the Memory Sports World Championship?
It's
What do you think?
it's
What is
wild.
the reason for that? Any thoughts on that?
I don't know. I mean, I guess people know what Excel is and they use it every day, but like we all use our memories every day, right? And I don't know. It's something that's been bugging me a lot. So I don't have any good thoughts on that. It's more just annoying to me right now. But I
Okay.
don't know. Maybe we'll get there.
Yeah, let's see. And yeah, Braden, I'd like to some technical stuff.
Yeah.
So, which systems do you use? Really
Oh,
technical
dude.
stuff. You don't have to talk too much about it if you don't want to, but number system. What is your number system?
I'll talk all day about this if you let me.
I see.
Um, okay, so number system, I use a three digit. I use the major system, and
Mhm.
I have a unique image for every number from 000 to 999. I place two three-digit images in a location, like using a memory palace. So
Mhm.
6 digits per location is kind of what I do there. Yeah.
Okay. For cards?
Cards, I use a two card system. The same kind of system that like Alex Mullen and a few other guys use. So I have a unique image for every possible combination of two cards using a sort of a hack, which I think you also use, Johannes. I'm able to cut the amount of images for that from because 52 times 52 is 2704, right? So we only need like my system has like 1360 images. So but yeah, I have a unique image for every pair of two cards, which sounds really insane. But now that I've been using it for quite a few years, um, I don't know. I don't know any other way. So it's honestly less. I don't less mentally taxing. I find than like the PAO and single card systems I was using before. So but
Mhm.
yeah, two card system all the way, baby. Words, yes. So I put two in a location. I do. I use sort of what Katie Kermode and a few other people use. I actually stumbled on it on my own, and then like a couple days later, I heard Katie talk about it. So it kind of let me know I was on the right track quite a few years ago. I was struggling with words, so especially abstract words are kind of hard, right? So what I started doing was I created unique palaces specifically for words, and I place a person in each location. So I have somebody I know personally, like acting out or doing something with each pair of words. Um, Yeah, so two words in a location, but each location has a person in it. And I find that was like instantly a game changer. I use that same system for images as well, actually.
Okay,
So
cool. Thanks.
yeah.
And yeah, a bit of your background. So what drew you initially into memory sports? What was it? Was it well yeah, what was it?
Well, it's kind of the same default answer you hear a lot of people say. I stumbled upon Moonwalking with Einstein, and I read that faster than I think I still read any book as an adult. And yeah, it's compelling. I was like, hey, I wonder if there's like a memory sports scene in Canada. And I mean, I don't know if I should explain what that book is. Like a lot of our audience probably knows, but it's about a journalist who kind of gets tangled up in the world of memory sports back in like 2006, competes in the U.S. Championship and stuff like that. So anyway, I read that. I looked into like, hey, what's going on in Canada, and I got in touch with a few people. There was a memory sports scene. It was very small. It's still pretty small. It's like maybe this much bigger now, but yeah, and that's kind of how it happened. I entered my first memory competition. Like it was like 6 to 8 weeks later. I went from nothing to memorizing a deck of cards and winning the event I was in, all in like about 6 weeks. And then it was kind of like from then on, it was like hats off, let's go. And I was like, what else can I do? And then I, created a number system, and yeah, just started practicing everything. And eventually made my way to the Canadian Memory Championships the following year, and um, yeah, my motivations never really stopped. I just want to keep getting better.
Yeah, but I mean, this is how you found out about it and so on. But what did you make stick to it? So, what was it? Why did you started really doing it in terms of memory sports and so on? Because I mean, many people hear about it and think, yeah, maybe, I don't know. But what is it exactly what it make you stick?
Well, okay, so I've always naturally had a really excellent memory.
So,
But there's these, yeah, learning about memory athletes and stuff. I was like, huh, like I felt almost like a little self-conscious. I'm like, I could probably do this too, right? So when I started practicing this stuff, and I picked it up pretty quick, um, that was really, I don't know, exciting and encouraging me, and I just wanted to keep pushing myself to see what I was capable of. And then also, like I used to, I've always like found growing up and even into like my early adult years, I've always had some sort of competitive outlet. So like, as a kid it was sports, and then even as an adult I was playing like, softball and stuff like that. Not at like a serious level, but I always had something to kind of, to do. And then at this point in my life I had kind of stopped doing all those things. And this was also a way for me to like compete against other people and like push myself. So like I like competing a lot.
mhm.
Um, and this was like an outlet for that. So that was also probably a factor in me like getting really into this. And I mean, fast forward what 6, 7 years. I mean, I've won 5 different Canadian national titles now. I hold all these records. Um, yeah, and I just feel like I'm just getting started still. So like, but that was a big thing I think is the competition aspect of it. Like that's really, I don't know, fun and motivating for me. And yeah, and then just being able to challenge myself. I like, trying to get personal records, trying like really weird, insane feats. Yeah, I don't know. Like,
Mhm. Okay.
yeah,
But of course, you could do anything else, right? You could also do something else in order to be competitive. But memory sports yeah, seems to combine something else here. So,
yeah, it does. Yeah, it speaks to me in a way like nothing else has.
mhm,
I don't know how to. I can't really articulate it any other way. I don't know, but
cool. So, what was the most memorable competition for you?
I say okay. My favorite one was probably the first Pan American where we faced off and I beat you. That was not, but that one was a lot of fun for me because that was my first like memory league, like serious memory league competition. And I specifically had somebody like that was trash talking me that event and all that. And you and I had like a really intense dragged out like knock him out, drag him out battle. Basically came down to like, either of us could have taken it. I ended up winning, which was great. And then the next year we faced off again and you beat me in straight sets. So but that first one was pretty memorable for me, I'd say. Yeah, and then both Memory League World Championships have been a blast as well.
Cool. Yeah, I remember that very well. That was also the first time doing this big stream here and sitting actually in my bedroom. while everything was running here on from remote. So that was really cool. Would you say that you have had to overcome some kind of significant emotional stress or challenge during a competition, or isn't that
Mhm.
something what strikes you?
Trying to think. All the Canadian like the national events I've won. Um, those for some reason I haven't had a lot of adversity in those. I competed in the only Canadian IAM event. That was my first kind of Canadian national. I placed first among Canadians there. Ben Pridmore from England flew out for that too. Like we all competed
Yeah.
in like a little elementary school in northern Alberta. It was really cool. That was hard because we did the national format of events, and it was 10 events in one day. So that was probably, like, now that I'm thinking about it, that was probably the most difficult competition I've been a part of because it was 10 events in one day. And I had just like flown there the day before, so I had some travel fatigue there. It was tough, man. Like, especially by the time you get to those last couple events, you're trying to memorize a deck of cards, and you've been sitting there for like 10 hours already memorizing like tons of other things. It was tough. But I don't know. I overcame it. There's lots of coffee. So that I don't know. That was trying to think. And then like with Memory League, last year the World Championships, I was probably an underdog against Katie Kermode, and I feel like we match up really well based on like what our strengths and weaknesses were. She ended up winning the first set. And I was feeling a little dejected at first, and then I kind of regrouped in between, and I ended up winning the next two, and yeah, I won that match, so that was pretty awesome too. So I
Okay,
tend to stay pretty even keel, I'd say.
that's good. That's good. And this
Yeah,
year, I'm not sure. Who do you play in the first round? I'm not sure.
I'm playing Mateo.
Matteo. Oh, yeah, a short outlook to Matteo. What do you think? How are the chances?
I think they're okay.
Mhm.
Um, so Mateo, like he's pretty talented, and I think he's not even close to hitting his ceiling. Like he seems like he's getting better all the time. Yeah, I know he's newer, so like I have experience competing, which I think is on my side, and our strengths and weaknesses are like completely opposite, which is kind of interesting. I think that match is going to come down to just who makes the first mistake, basically. Like whoever loses that will probably have beaten themselves because like, well, if we're both on, we should win the events we should win. I mean, and if that's the way it goes, he's better than me at a few of these, so like he could just edge me out based on that. Um, I've been working on some things though, so we'll see how it goes. But I honestly think it's going to be close. Like he might be able to, like I said, edge me out in a couple events, but like I do think my experience is going to help. Um, and yeah, so I've been working on some strategies for him. Like his name scores are crazy. Like
Mhm.
I've been looking at that. I'm like he's memorizing all 30 names in like 30 seconds or less. Like
Mhm.
geez
Uh,
Louise.
yeah, he is. He's a really fast-growing athlete here. So from Italy,
Yeah.
it's also very cool. So how do you balance your training with your life? I mean, you have a
Oh, dude.
life, don't you?
I don't have a life. I mean, my
You
life
don't.
is basically just like my family and my job. So like balancing it's hard. Like I envy these young guys that just have all this time. In that way, like I have lots of other awesome things, so it's okay. But like if I was joking with a friend the other day, and I'm like, I'm kind of glad I discovered memory sports when I did because I feel like if I discovered it when I was young, it just would have consumed my entire life. And for good or for worse, I don't know. But so how I balance it now, though, like we take the kids to school, so like I get do training in the morning doesn't really work. Like I used to get up and train, so I train on my breaks at work. So I get like a couple coffee breaks and a lunch break, and I'm literally using every second of those breaks just on memory league or whatever, like training. And then with the world championships coming up, I've been trying to train at night too. So like I'm doing some of my more like some of my system work and training like the like less important events because like the first I know who my first opponent is, so I'm prioritizing like what I want to make sure I'm solid on. So I'm training those at night. So like again during the day I'm probably getting like a good hour of training in, and then at night um, and I don't even have time every night, but it's probably like half an hour to an hour of just like flashcards, system review, and then getting a few reps and like some of the other events in. So yeah, it's tough, man. Like and like weekends are crazy again with young kids, and working a couple of jobs. My wife works a lot, so There's days where I can't even train at all.
Mm.
Um, those days I'm like probably sacrificing a little sleep. Like with the World Championship coming up, I'm maybe staying up a little later than I should just to get, I'll get a couple decks of cards in, but like it's hard, man. Like I'm trying to fit stuff in. I feel okay though. Like I am getting lots of training in, all things considered. I think I'm trying to peak at the right time. Like I've had a couple times where with like a memory league season on the horizon or a slam or whatever, I go. I don't know about you, but I go through ebbs and flows. Like there'll be times where like my deck times like for cards and my numbers will be like ramping up, and I'll be, oh man, this is awesome. I'm able to do stuff in like 16, 17 seconds, 15 seconds even for a deck of cards. And I'm almost at least attempt wise, like I'm getting in that ballpark regularly, and then like something happens and suddenly it's like down 5 seconds, and then like it's like I build it. It's weird. I go through ebbs and flows, so I'm trying to peak, if that makes any sense, at the right time because I've peaked early before, and then like kind of lost like momentum or something, and then my times have dialed back a bit right at the start of a slam or whatever, and I'm like, I don't know why that happens. Even when I'm training regularly, I find that happens. So I'm trying to figure that out. I'm trying to make sure I don't like peak too early. Like I want to make sure I'm as good as possible when the World Championship starts, at least for round one, because I don't know what's going to happen after that. But uh, yeah, man. But yeah, it's a struggle. But I do my best trying to fit it in, and yeah.
Mm. Cool. Are your kids and wife watching sometimes, or is it something what you do for yourself?
Not yeah, maybe like probably when they're a bit older they'll watch. My wife sometimes will put it on her phone, but like she's usually like taking care of the kids
Mm.
when I'm doing stuff. Like I mean some of my matches happen late at night or early in the morning, so in that case people are, in bed. But if it's been yeah, like a slam or world championship or like during the middle of the day on Saturday, like she's watching the kids. They're kind of young, right? My daughter's 5, my son's 3, like they don't know what's going on. Like if they were to watch it, they'd be like, "What's daddy doing?" And like, I don't think it would be that exciting for them. Maybe in a few years they would. But my wife will cheer me on. Like she'll open Twitch on her phone and watch and stuff like that. But yeah, maybe in a few years they can actually, just sit on the couch and watch me on TV.
Yeah. What do you think? How has memory being a memory athlete influenced your life nowadays?
Well, I've met lots of people and had conversations with lots of people that I never would have otherwise. It's an interesting topic that it seems like a lot of people are fascinated by. But they also, like, a lot of people just assume that we're all like these special creatures that can do this, and we came out of the womb memorizing things. And I'm like, it's a learned skill. Anyone can learn how to do this. Like maybe some of us are, more genetically predisposed to be better at this, like anything, right? And but generally speaking, most of us can reach really high levels. And yeah, I guess like again, like the competitive outlet for me is important. So like that's been kind of good for me mentally, I think. And just in general, like having something. I mean, I go to the gym few mornings a week as well, so I like to push myself in there. Like I train really hard, and I take my memory training seriously as well, and I like to push myself. So like I've actually been able to relate, like the memory sports training and all those things, like to other aspects of life, like if like in the gym for instance, if a lift is stuck or something, you try something different. Like there's a lot of principles that apply to other things that like I've been able to apply to memory sports to help me get through like or try to bust through like plateaus and things like that too. So positively affected a lot of aspects of my life, I'd say. Yeah, I don't know, it's been pretty cool. So and I've been able to like help people with things a lot too. And that was a part of this I didn't expect to happen, but I've had people reach out to me. I have done some coaching and stuff, and have made a real like positive impact on other people's lives. So that's been pretty awesome too.
Cool. Do you think there are any misconceptions about memory athletes? Would like
Oh
to
yeah.
address? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean the common one, like which I'm sure a lot of us would say, was like, yeah, people just assume, oh, you're so lucky, you're so talented, and like I get so annoyed and insulted. I'm like, yeah, you're right. All the like thousands of hours I've spent like painstakingly memorizing decks of cards or learning my card system, which took the better part of a year to like design and practice and like implement. And it was, dude, like even that alone was such an undertaking. It's like, yeah, yeah, I don't know. People just assume we have this gift or something. And I always say, it, if I have been given this God-given gift, the only what it is like my work ethic probably, and my like I get really psychotic like about getting good at things and training. And like when I get into something, I'm usually like really into it. But yeah, I've spent like a lot of time working on this and just assuming that it's a natural or like an innate ability. It's like it's really borderline insulting. It's like saying that to like a really good piano player. Oh, you're so lucky, you're so gifted. It's like they've spent like thousands of hours doing this
Yeah,
too. Don't it? Don't demean their hard work.
good.
Anyway, so that's annoying when people say that. I say that's a misconception, and then the other misconception probably is I don't know if they assume that we're all just like a bunch of nerds or something. Like memory athletes are are very I find like all walks of life kind of. I've met lots of different types of people. We're all just regular people. This is just a something we happen to be really good at, really passionate about. But we're all just regular people, just like everyone else.
Last but not least,
Yeah.
what do you say? What is your vision for memory sports in the future? Where do you see that in a couple of years? Is it necessary to grow it, or is it good as it is? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think like more audience, like we were saying earlier. I've thought about this a lot, and like with like for instance with Memory League, I do feel like that's the future because um again we people can watch what we're doing. Like traditional memory sports, like you're not going to get fill a stadium and watch a bunch of people that are basically studying, right? Like looking at pieces of paper and stuff. Like that's not fun. I mean, it's fun for us, but so I think like growing, I would love if the sport grew, and I think the biggest factor there is using technology and using like digital means. So again, like being able to show, okay, what's on this guy's screen and all that in a way that's hopefully not distracting to the competitors, but yeah, I think like Memory League, and I don't think we've even. I'm sure there's things we're not doing that we could start doing. What those things are, I'm not too sure, but I think we're on the right track, and I've been really impressed with how things have come along with like the Memory League, like the format, the World Championships, all that stuff. Um, I think I think we're headed in the right direction, but
In the right direction. I think so too. Sometimes I feel we need some unique event or some like scandal or something to be big. Maybe if you want to
yeah,
produce your scandal during the World Championship, go ahead. So it's up to you. You can make it big then.
yeah, I know what you mean. It's like, yeah, I just feel like we're missing something. And I'm sure there's a piece or two that like will come over, in time. And like I do think the sport can grow. It's just like, yeah, I think technology is like the biggest part of that. And like we're for sure heading in the right direction that way. So
Mm,
yeah, well, I mean, we'll figure out this thing's gonna evolve and we're gonna get new people in the sport, we'll get fresh blood, outside eyes, new ideas and stuff. Like I think things will happen. But
cool. So yeah, Braden, anything else you want to share? You want to say?
oh yeah, I was gonna mention it kind of came up already. Yeah, I the Canadian National Championships were in November, so that was kind of I took the most recent Memory League season off, so like I wasn't doing a lot of Memory League for a while, so I was prepping for that, hoping to win that. I was able to win it, broke a couple of my previous national records, which is awesome. So that was kind of sidetracked me from Memory League training. So now it's been all Memory League, and I'm excited to get back to the Memory League competition. Yeah, I'm
Mm,
so jacked for this World Championship. So
cool.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
Thank you, Braden. So thank
I'll
you.
talk memory all day, every day, man.
You're still
I love
doing that even if there's nothing going on, right?
it. Yeah, just to myself. All
It's good. That's it.
right, man.
Have a nice one. See you soon,
You too.
and good luck for the World Championship.
Thank you, sir. All right, take care.
Bye bye.